sugar, spice, and everything nice. These were the ingredients chosen to create the perfect little girl. But Professor Utonium accidentally added an extra ingredient to the concoction.
Hi, I'm Anya.
And I'm Maddie.
And we're the Tweeks,
Twin Teen
Geeks.
In July at Comic-Con, we were lucky enough to interview the cast of the new Cartoon Network reboot of the Powerpuff Girls.
We have both loved the Powerpuff Girls since we were little kids, so it was amazing to get to meet and interview them.
We had a chance to interview Bubbles, Blossom, and Buttercup, Kristen Li, Amanda Leighton, and Natalie Palamides.
We even befriended Kristen Li, who does the voice of Bubbles. She's 14, which is our age too. Hi, Kristen. Now time for the interview. Is it fun to be a Powerpuff Girl?
It's good because we have so much fun together.
And we have so much chemistry.
And we all get to record together. So.
Yeah, so we can feed off of each other.
Were you fans of the original?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
I grew up my childhood, so like I have so much like respect and like love for them and everything, and so it's kind of like, you know, a dream come true to kind of like continue on just the story of the Powerpuffs.
Yeah, me too. Girl power all the way. So when I got the audition, I was like, what?
Yeah.
I was kind of freaking out. Ask my dad, it's true.
How did you get involved with the new Powerpuff Girl project?
Well, originally our voiceover agent will just send us an email, and the only thing we'll have is maybe a picture of the character, and it says Powerpuff.
Description.
Yeah, and it's like a very small little description, like, oh, she's fun and sweet and cute,
And she's this age, or
yeah, and then that's pretty much it. And then they give you maybe like 8 to 10 lines of just your character.
yeah.
Of different parts within a script. So like, one line is like, oh, very sweet, and the next line is like yelling from across the field, getting ready for
They'll
battle.
give you directions.
Yeah, and then you go into the booth and you go in with whatever you prepared. Then if you get a call back, you go to the actual callback to where where the
You meet the
producers,
producer,
the director, and
director.
everyone's there, and then you do it in front of them, and then you leave, and then you
And then
hear
you
and
leave.
see if you get called back again, and then we actually had a chemistry read all together.
Yeah, which we didn't actually, I don't know, was that our first episode? Where we did?
It was, but we didn't actually record it. It was just like a chemistry kind of read to see all of us together reading. And that was it, pretty much. Just audition.
It's a whole process.
Do you have a favorite villain?
Oh no.
That's a hard tie. I love Mojo Jojo.
Mojo Jojo is kind of our main.
Yeah. And growing up, I always loved him because I thought he was like interesting, creepy. I was like, oh, he like would give me the chills. But
Yeah, I have a lot of people. I like, let's see, like Mojo Jojo, definitely him, definitely. Who else?
there's a lot of funny villains.
Yeah, there's
too.
Fuzzy Lumpkins, there's,
Like the Amoeba Boys. I think they're so cute. They're just like so funny. And
Yeah.
the Gangrene Gang.
Gangrene Gang, they're hilarious.
Yeah, and we got a lot of new villains too, so that was kind of cool to kind of see like what villains were going to be added on into the world of Townsville. It's kind of fun, it's creative.
Is there a part of you in your character?
I feel like as an actor, you kind of, from what you know, the knowledge of the girls already, but as an actor, you have to always bring a part of yourself to the character, like your understanding of like knowing if Blossom is like a leader and responsible. What is my version of a leader and responsible and stuff? Because, it wouldn't be fair for me to try to be someone else's work, you know what I mean? As an actor, you have to just try to bring most of yourself to a character, but also honor what is already there.
Which ingredient are you?
We've actually had this discussion.
We've had this discussion.
We know which one is which, I think. Your sugar.
Spice is definitely Natalie, which is Buttercup. Everything nice is Amanda, and sugar would be Bubbles.
Yeah. And
Yeah, we went over this multiple times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We couldn't tell which one was which for a while. We were like, am I sugar? Or are you everything nice? Or am I everything nice and you're sugar?
Yeah, it's
Yeah. But we knew Buttercup had to be Spice. Yeah. Ooh, that's a good question.
oh, I haven't thought about this one.
Sassy.
Yeah, I think I would be
Spunky,
Spice.
but sweet. I think that would you
Spice.
say?
Because
You're like adorableness. I don't
I say, because each of us, well, everybody in the room can have a sassy side and be sarcastic and pretty much what Buttercup is. But then again, we all have our sweet, adorable, nice side. So I think it's pretty much just like a combination, because we all have a part of that. I can't pick one.
Did you draw your voice off any other influences?
Well, I didn't really get my voice from like another cartoon character. It's actually a voice that I use when I talk to my dog. I have like a really like cute like fat boy French bulldog, and I would always
so
kind
cute.
of like I would come home and I would be like, oh, Waddle, do you want to go on a walk? And he just gives me this like bulldog like frowny face, and so I would give him a voice, and he's like, oh my god, no, I totally don't want to go on a walk right now. And so it's a little bit like based off of that, and then it was just made with like the attributes that Blossom already had, and it kind of just turned into a higher pitch, more type A version of that voice.
Obviously, Tara Strong has an amazing voice for Bubbles, so I wanted it to be similar to hers. And so whenever I talk to like little cute babies or toddlers or even dogs, I always go into like the high pitch, like, oh, you're so cute! And that's pretty much where I got it from. I just pretty much made her more bubbly and more sweet and higher, and not as much as I'm talking to a baby, more of I'm talking to everyone.
Did you have a favorite Powerpuff Girl when you watched the show?
I remember watching it and just loving all of them. Like every day, I remember thinking, what girl would I be? Like I'd be sitting in front of the TV and I'm like a Buttercup. And then next day I'd be like, no, I'm probably more of like a Blossom. And then I'm like, oh no, wait, I'm a little bit of Bubbles. And that's what I think was so great about those characters, is because I feel like each character represents every girl. You know what I mean? I feel like any girl can identify with a Buttercup or with a Blossom or with a Bubbles.
Or anybody really. For me, it's same because I was very indecisive. So I'd be like, I want to be Bubbles. No. Buttercup's tougher. I want to be Buttercup. But people would always tell me, oh, you're so cute, you're like Bubbles, because they would always see me watching the show. So I think
you're totally a Bubbles. If I could say,
everyone says I'm Bubbles. So I guess I always would relate more to Bubbles because she talks to animals and I love animals. So I would always want to try and figure out what they're saying, if they have a different language. I think when I was younger, I wanted to be more of a Bubbles. So very surreal.
How old are you?
I'm 23.
And I'm 14. Yeah. How old are you guys?
Oh, sweet.
My phone just fell.
Who is the jokester of the group?
Natalie.
Sir Natalie. Natalie's hilarious.
Natalie is so funny.
And she does like improv and like sketch
Stand
shows
up
and everything and stand. So
actually, she was just doing on fire breathing for a sketch.
Mm-hmm. She was all showing us a video on her phone that at, like,
we were all very
show,
scared.
She had to do fire breathing, and it was very impressive. She's hilarious.
What is it like working with Nick and Bob?
They're awesome. They're so
they
much
are
fun
a
to work
hand.
with.
No, they're fun.
Yeah, coolest bosses ever. Like
it's the truth.
Were you fans of the original Powerpuff Girls?
Absolutely, yeah. We were both in animation at the time Powerpuff Girls was originally happening. I was working at Nickelodeon. Where were you working? You working there?
Yeah, I was working at Nickelodeon too.
Nickelodeon? Yeah. So, and we know Craig McCracken, who created the show, and we always thought that show was super cool and interesting and fun. And it was a whole cool style that was coming out of that Hanna-Barbera, and then when they did Cartoon Network, and they were coming up with a really great way of doing animation that was new and exciting. So, as in animation, yeah, super big fans.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of the first creator-driven shows too. So before that, all the shows on animated shows were mostly based on toys or existing properties, like Garfield or something like that. So this was really exciting to see somebody like have an idea and be able to bring it to a fresh new idea. It wasn't based on a toy or something. So it was great.
What made you want to bring it back?
Well, I think it was one of the biggest properties for Cartoon Network, and so it seemed like a natural time to bring it back, with girl empowerment being a very big part of today's society. Yeah, I don't know. It's just
Yeah. I mean, it was a
Just
huge.
like
It was a
yeah.
huge show
Yeah.
for them in the day, and I think that having it, lapse 15 years or 20 years, whatever it is, and then this idea of bringing it back was really exciting because we could also take what they were doing, and then we could build on that, give it a new tone, give it a new feel, kind of update it for today's audiences, and then it would be like super exciting and interesting. And like you say, like with girl empowerment. Now, I mean, at the time that was such a novelty sort of thing, but now, like Hunger Games and like all those, like girl empowerment is such a huge part of the public's conscience right now that it was great to like bring it in and showcase it and try to be positive and send positive messages to people.
When it came out, it was girls being superheroes was kind of an oddity, and now it's, as you see at Comic-Con, girl geek power. It's amazing. Girls are totally into superheroes. It's not just boys, and boys can be into girl superheroes. So I think it's all kind of, the time is right for that.
And it's kind of interesting too because like Bob and I have been in animation for years, and it used to be almost exclusively male dominated, right? Like all board artists, directors, like all men. And in the last 10 years, slowly been, and actually in the last couple of years, it's been really excelling for women. So we have, like, I think now we have a lot of women.
Yeah, it's
on
over
our
50%.
staff. Yeah, at least.
Yeah.
We have over half our storyboard artists from women. We were hiring people, like we're hiring writers. Like we definitely wanted a woman writer to have that sort of perspective. We only have 2 writers, so we were like, okay. We were interviewing a bunch of people for writing. We brought them in for like a day. So you'd bring in writers and you'd like work with them for a day, and then you send them off to write something, and then you read what they said, and because you have to live with these people practically when you're writing a lot. And one day we brought Hayley Mancini in, who's our writer, and this other woman, and we were talking, and they started talking about MASH. You guys know what MASH is? MASH, that, whatever that, I don't even know what it was, right?
Yeah,
I thought they were talking about the old show.
We thought it was MASH, the television show. We're like, what?
Do you guys know what MASH is? Yeah, okay. I know what it is. Okay.
But we had no idea.
So we had no idea. So Bob and I look at each other and we're like, okay, we have to have a woman on staff for writing because there's no way, I'm like, that's something, it's not in my wheelhouse.
How does the reboot differ from the original show?
On my very first day, as soon as I knew that I was coming in for the first writers meeting, I literally read through every single synopsis of every episode and special that the Powerpuff Girls ever did, because I wanted to make sure that I'm like, all right, well, this is the style of episode that they did. This is the ground that has been covered. And then you always want to take something to a new spot, and how can we do it? What are new types of villains that we can do? What are new types of stories? What are new angles on the girls that we can sort of tell? And you want to build off of this amazing thing that has come before you. So
yeah, I know for myself that when I had come in and then I did kind of a pitch session. And I just pitched episodes that I had always wanted to see because I was such a big fan of the original. And so I had Princess Buttercup, which is the first episode. I pitched that. I just always kind of wanted to see if Buttercup became pals with a bunch of girls that were like Buttercup and pulled her away, and how that would affect the sisterhood dynamic. And Miss Buttercup right here. And so I just kind of came in off of the old series of episode I always wanted to see. And then Nick and Bob always had such a great vision for understanding what the old show was, that you can't perfect on perfection. Let's let it be what it is and just take it to the future and make a new show for a new generation.
What is the main message in the reboot?
I think one of the big messages, Once Upon a Townsville kind of was one of my personal big episodes that I wanted to say something with. It just, girls should just be on the same team. I think one of the great things about the old show is that it was representing feminism at that time, which is girl power, let's, punch through the glass ceiling, that sort of thing. And I think now, to me, feminism has also become embracing each other and just going, there's not just one space at the table for us. We can all be at the table. And so I think that that's just always being on each other's team and supporting each other. You can be a princess who punches. You could also be a princess who doesn't punch, and I'll still be your friend. That sort of thing.
I've got a big philosophy that I'm if you can see it, you can do it. I go to my niece all the time, even before I was on the show, and I always tell her that she's a hero, and I'm like, you got to do it. You can do it, so that she's brave enough to go down the slide, because I think sometimes you just need somebody to just define it so that you can have that language and lexicon, and that's to me what I absolutely love about the show is putting these characters out there that I want kids to look up to and relate to and say, oh, well, look, they had a problem and I have a similar problem. Well, Buttercup got through it, so maybe I can too. And so that's sort of like what I was trying to do.
Yeah, I'd say that you guys do a great job. They do a great job of moving a character from point A to point C throughout the episode. You know, like Buttercup will start and completely once by, you know, like in Once Upon a Townsville, she's like, oh, princess, you know, gag me. And then by the end of it, you know, she's very understanding and loving of the other girls. And I think that those kind of arcs happen throughout the show with the girls. They're constantly learning lessons, learning to just, you know, spread peace and love and recognizing their wrongs.
Is Buttercup still the same?
Oh, what's similar? Definitely, you know, the attitude. You know, she's still a badass chick. I don't know if I'm allowed to say that. Maybe put some asterisks in there. You know, still the toughest fighter and still, like, you know, is a no-nonsense kind of girl, easily irritable. You know, just the attitude and her personality is definitely the same. You know, obviously it's a different voice and, you know, that's the long and short of it.
In all honesty, if I'm gonna be honest with myself, you're a blossom. Yeah, you're a blossom. Yeah, I'm definitely a blossom. I've been Bubbles since I was little. But now I think you're Buttercup. Really? You're not Bubbles anymore. When you were like 2, you were Bubbles, but you're Buttercup. I don't know. I have some pretty choice clips of Bubbles that I'd like to show you. Yeah, but you're Buttercup. She's definitely Buttercup. What do you guys think? What Powerpuff Girls are we?